Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking and reviewing quadratics, especially graphing them and writing them. Alright, so if we look at our first quadratic here, this is what we call the vertex form. Now you can actually graph this using your transformations. That's your B-hack. It's not hard to do. You can transform these using transformations, or you can just remember that this is what we call the vertex form of a graph. And the vertex form said this: y equals a x minus h squared plus k. It's our vertex form. We call it the vertex form because of h and k. So our vertex is hk. And that's going to be the top or the bottom of our parabola. So if I want to rewrite this equation in vertex form, it would be as such. That's my k, so I'm going to rewrite it this way: negative 1/4 x minus 0 squared, because I'm not adding or subtracting anything there, plus 16, and that's going to give it up down here my vertex, which is 0, 16. So there's our vertex. And now we're going to sketch this. Now to sketch it, you need a couple things. One, you need the vertex, 0, 16. We're not looking for accuracy, so don't worry about scaling. And you need another point on the graph. Any point on the graph will be fine. The easiest to find sometimes is the x-intercept. So that's what we're going to do now. Now we know our parabola is opening down, so we know it will cross the x-axis. We just have to find where. And to do that, we use our x-intercept. The definition is where y equals 0. So I just take my whole equation, set that whole equation equal to 0. And I get 0 equals 16 minus 1/4 x squared. Multiply everything by 4 to get rid of the fraction. We get 0 equals 64 minus x squared. And therefore we get our x value is plus or minus 8. Be careful, because that's going to become 64 equals x squared. You get two answers there. One at negative 8, one at positive 8. Now, what I would like you to try to do for tonight is number 2. Okay? The form, it's still vertex form. Matter of fact, the vertex here, very easy to do. They already gave it to us. It's 2, 2. We always take the opposite side of the inside. So if it's negative, we make it positive because it's our vertex form, x minus h. So we got the vertex. Now the x-intercept won't work out for us. You'll find out very quickly when you try solving for that. But we'll go over number 2 tomorrow in class if we need to. So go ahead and try that one. I would suggest, though, graph the y-intercept for your other point. All right, number 3, though, let's take a look down here at number 3. We call this standard form. Now, standard form for a parabola was this one: y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, to get the vertex from standard form, we use the equation x equals negative b over 2a. And if I apply that, that's going to give me negative 4 over 2 times 3, which is negative 4 over 6, which is negative 2/3. Now, that's the x-coordinate for a vertex. Vertex, remember, has a points x, y. Now we got to find y. Plug it into the original. We get 3. Now if I square that, that becomes 4 over 9. Plus 4 times negative 2/3 plus 1. Yuck, ugly. This becomes, what's that? 4/3 minus 8/3 plus 1. Now this is very ugly, but we can do this one. It's negative 4/3 plus 1, so basically negative 1/3. So if I were to sketch this, so my vertex is going to be at negative 2/3, negative 1/3. So if I try sketching this, nothing for accuracy, boom, boom. Oh, look, there's my vertex, negative 1/3, negative 2/3. I need to graph it, though. I do know it's opening up. I know it's opening up because it is positive. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. It's an even positive function. To graph it, though, I need the x-intercept. And we just let the function equal 0. And I'm going to factor it. I'm going to use 3 and 1, 1 and 1. Cross multiply to check. 3x plus 1x does equal 4x. So we're good. So it's going to become 3x plus 1, x plus 1 equals 0. So we get x equals negative 1/3, x equals negative 1. Those are my x-intercepts. I would definitely try this one again. And there is my parabola right there. There's -1, and there is -1/3. Right over there. So I would definitely try number 3 again, because that's kind of a tough one. That's the hardest one you can possibly ever be given. And there are other ways you can graph this, but we'll talk about those maybe later on. All right, so let's talk about how to write a parabola. Turn it over. Mine's stuck. Now, sometimes, I don't know why they do this, they call the vertex form standard form. So anytime you see the word standard form, you can generally write it in this vertex form. I like to call it vertex form, but the book for some odd reason is going to call it standard form this year. So how new is that for us? Now, we want to write the equation of this parabola. So I'm going to write down the equation in standard form. Ax minus h squared plus k. Now, recall, h and k are my vertex. There's my vertex. Aha, they give that to me. So they give me h and k as 2, -1. I plug it into my formula just as is. Y equals a. X minus h is 2 plus a -1. Whoop, I forgot my squared. There we go. I forgot my squared. So it's basically y equals a. X minus 2 squared minus 1. Now, the only other thing I need to do is I have to find a. Say it like the Fonz. I got to find a. Now, to find a, I just need to pick one more point. It doesn't matter which point you pick. It can pick the point 4, 0 or 0, 0. Now, I don't know about you, but some days I just feel like being lazy. I'm going to pick the easiest point possible. 0, 0. And I'm going to plug it in. There's my x, there's my y. As I say to all my x's, y. 0 equals a. 0 minus 2 squared minus 1. Solve it. Bring over the 1. A, that just becomes 4. Therefore, a is 1/4. So my equation, therefore, is going to be y equals 1/4 x minus 2 squared minus 1. Very easy to do. I love writing equations of parabolas. It's parabolically fun. I mean, look how easy it is. It just makes you want to smile. That was bad. All right, number 2. Here we go. Not even a graph. They just give us a point. So let's find the vertex. Y equals, I write out the equation every stinking time, plus k. I plug in my vertex, h, k. I plug in my vertex. Y equals, be careful, a, x minus a -2 this time, squared plus 5. So that's y equals a, x más 2, that's plus 2 from Spanish, plus 5. I got to find a. Look at this. Look at this. How easy is it to get an A in a class? You got to find it. 0, 9. Plug in your one point that they gave me. And I plug it in. 9 equals a. 0 plus 2 squared plus 9. Biggest mistake people make, they forget the plus, the square right there. So don't make that mistake. Solve, bring over the 5. I get 4 equals a, 0 plus 2 squared, 4. Therefore, a is 1. I just plug it in. Y equals. See, this is my equation right here. But I just need to find the a. So now that I have the a, I just plug it in. 1. X plus 2 squared plus 5. And omit, before you can ask me, you do not need to show the 1. You can leave the 1 off. All right. So what I want you guys to do, number 3. I want you guys to do number 3, and we'll go over that one in class tomorrow. Now, please go to part 2. Part 2 is very short, okay, but you need to know it for tomorrow's notes, okay? I'll see you at part 2. Bye.